Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we're going to take a look at the Swagman Chinook 2 bike rack here on our 2017 Ford Explorer. So this is a really good bike rack if you're looking for something that has a little bit more weight capacity than your average bike rack, even though it is made for Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3 hitches. So whether you have a smaller 1.25" hitch receiver or a larger 2" hitch receiver, this might be a good option for you. So first, let's take a look at the way this works. One of its features is that this can tilt away. So to do so, you lift up on this lever right over here and then just drop that bike rack down. Then come over here to your hatch on your Explorer. So as you can see, we have pretty good clearance between our door and our pedals, as well as our handlebars, meaning we can get into our trunk, maybe grab our helmets, grab our bags, grab our waters without having to take our bikes off. So that's going to be nice, because then if you just need to grab something real quick out of your trunk, you don't have to take the extra time to take your bikes off, and then you can get back onto the trail a little bit faster. So just lift this back up and it snaps into place. This is nice because other bike racks in this price category may or may not have that tilt away feature. You usually see that tilt away in your more premium bike racks. All right, now let's take a look at the way our bike is mounted. So we have 2 wheel straps holding our wheels down. This is actually doing most of the work when it comes to carrying around our bike. We also have this ratcheting hook up here. So this ratcheting hook holds your bike by the frame. So if you do have like a carbon fiber frame bike, maybe it's not the best option for you, but for most of your like regular bikes with regular frames, this works great. This will also work on some women's and children's bikes, but if you have an extremely low frame design, you may want to consider picking up a frame adapter bar. Now, if you want to take your bike off, you start at the wheel straps by pressing that lever and then lifting up on the strap. I do like how this swings completely away, then it's not getting caught up in my bicycle spokes. So press that lever, lift up on the strap, then come over here to the frame. You can lock these ratcheting hooks, so make sure they're unlocked in order to push or press that button to push them up. You have 2 options here for taking your bike off. You can tilt this away, but if you need a little bit of extra clearance, you have another option. Now, what I sometimes like to do is I take these hooks off completely, and then I lift up on this lever, make sure to push it all the way in, and then give it a little bit of force right there. And see how I can lower that mast. That way, if I do have a slightly heavier bike, I just lift it up a little bit over that mast in that cradle, and then I'm ready to go on a bike ride. So you do have different options. It's faster just to tilt it away, and it's easier to bring the mast down. Now notice how these hooks ratchet down to secure your bike's frame. With the longer hook, we have a distance of about 19 inches from the top of the cradle to the bottom of that hook, and that's going to give you a good guesstimate for the height of your frame that this can accommodate. Now let's put both of these back into place right there. Okay, let's take a look at our cradles. So we do have these long straps, and these straps have that cushion on the inside that goes on top of your wheel. It gives it a little extra support. Traction helps protect your wheels from scuffs and scratches. Notice how our nice steel cradles have a distance of 3 inches apart on the inside. So a maximum tire width of 3 inches for these cradles. If you do have a fat tire bike though, perfectly fine. You'll just need to get these separate fat bike adapters that fit this bike rack. You can find those here at etrailer. Now we're gonna bring this mast down so it's in a bit more of a stowed position. Let's see, right there. Okay, so notice that whenever you do have a bike rack on your vehicle, there's gonna be some length added to the back of it. So I'm gonna measure from the bumper on our Ford Explorer underneath the bike rack to the furthest point of that bike rack, which is going to be the end of the cradles, and that sits at about 24 3/4 inches away. So whenever you're backing into your garage or trying to park into a really tight spot, that's going to be the length added to the back of your car. Now this is a larger vehicle anyways, so it doesn't make as much of a difference, but still a measurement to keep in mind. Now, measuring for ground clearance, I'm going to do that over here underneath our trays where our bikes are going to sit. It sits at 23 inches from the ground. Now it dips down over here where that shank is, so it's 15 inches and 14.5 inches straight underneath the shank. So you do have a slight shank rise, so your bikes are sitting a bit higher off the ground. So whenever you go up steep inclines like your driveways or hills, your front's going to go up, your back is going to go down. So that's usually when you consider that ground clearance. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold this up. So I just want to make sure that this is completely lowered. There we go. So that you can look at the fold up feature, and that is to pull this big lever again. We need to lift up on the bike rack and then fold that up. So we'll take some measurements again. So measuring from the bumper, the closest point is going to be that mast folded up, and we have about 2.5 inches of clearance between our vehicle and that mast. Now the furthest point is now going to be right over here, and that's 15 inches away from your bumper. Big difference compared to when this was folded down. This is a nice compact position for when you're driving around town. You're not exactly bringing your bikes around, but you also don't want to take your bike off. With it folded up, notice how obviously our rear window as well as our tail lights, our backup camera, our license plate, those are all unobstructed. That's nice because compared to larger bike racks that fold up, especially hanging racks, they can cover your backup camera. This keeps everything visible. Also notice how we actually have access or distance or clearance between our door and that bike rack. That's not usual for a vehicle, so it is nice to see that this pairs well with this car. Now talking about how this fits into the hitch receiver. So this comes with an anti-rail bolt and a lock. I don't have the lock on right now, but that lock is keyed alike to the locks on your ratcheting hooks. Now this does come with a wrench to tighten down, but I recommend doing what I do, and I use a 3/4 socket wrench. That's because it's just so much easier and faster that way. But with that anti-rail bolt tightened down, notice how most of our side-to-side movement is taken out. Now with the adapter, let's bring this up and down. We do get very, very, very little movement going up and down. So that anti-rail works with removing the sway from your bikes on the back of your vehicle, making for a smoother ride for your bikes overall. All right, so my final thoughts about this bike rack is with a 45-pound weight capacity per bike, it is nice to see how it also has the premium-ish features you would expect in your more premium bike racks. You have integrated hitch locks, you have integrated bike locks, which is your ratcheting hooks. You can use one key to access the whole system, and it's still an affordable bike rack. Now if you want more goalpost design or something lighter, we have other options here at eTrailer too, like the Kuat Sherpa or the Kuat Transfer. But if you just want something affordable but relatively easy to use and has a decent weight capacity, this might be a good option for you. So that was a look at the Swagman Chinook 2-bike platform rack here on our 2017 Ford Explorer.
Here it is on our test course. We'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Next, we're at the alternating speed bumps, which we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement. And finally, we have the full speed bumps, where we'll see the up and down action, which is just like driving out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway.